Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And it is Sunday morning. It is 10:24 a.m. I can't even believe that I'm up this early, which I know to many of you probably sounds late. But I usually sleep till at least noon, and maybe well after that many days. So last night I went to bed. I think I fell asleep like 11:30 or something, and my husband went to Chicago with his friend to visit his best friend to visit some friends from college, and they got in from Chicago. I think they left Chicago about midnight, and they got into Indianapolis about 3 o'clock, and I was crashed out. I was asleep. I was going to get up and watch a movie after like an hour. I was only going to lay down for like an hour and then watch a movie and wait for them to get home. And I was just completely out last night. So I woke up this morning at like 9 o'clock. My husband has some work stuff to do. So I was like, and then he's going to come home and we're going to have brunch and then go to the pool. So I thought, well, I've already had like a really rested sleep. So I might as well get up and have my cup of coffee for the morning and then read some meditations. And I'm going to do some other videos on my other channels, and I'm like up and awake. It is absolutely beautiful outside. It's like I literally cannot see a cloud in the sky. It's like 80 degrees out already, so it's going to be a beautiful Sunday. Sundays are my favorite day of the week. I love to just kind of relax on Sundays and refresh for the week to come. I love to like watch movies and TVs in the evening, go out to brunch with my husband, just kind of lounge around. I love Sundays. If you're a part of the True Crime Book Club that my friend Mel and I run, we usually do the live streams on Sundays, one Sunday every month. And that's always kind of a fun thing to do on a Sunday, is talk about some books, talk about some true crime. I just love Sundays. I always have. And when I was growing up, my mom and I, we went to this church when I was growing up. My mom was very involved in the church, and she taught Sunday school from I think 9 to 10, and then 10 to 11, we went to the service where there was a sermon and stuff, And hold on a second, I want to have a sip of coffee. This was my mom's coffee cup. And if you've read the book that I wrote, or if you haven't and you want to read it or hear it, it's out of print, but on my BookTube channel, Peter Likes Books, I went and I read every chapter of the book. So you can go over there just like an audiobook and listen to it. And these mugs actually make an appearance in the book. And I did buy these in Saugatuck, Michigan when I was a kid. I bought 2 matching mugs from this coffee shop called the Stone Mug. And I gave these to my mom. And these were her favorite coffee cups. So I still use them to this day. And these are some of my favorite coffee cups as well. But anyway, my mom and I, we would go to church on Sundays. And I can remember on the way home, we would stop at this bakery here in town called Roslyn Bakery. It doesn't exist anymore, but they had them all over the place, kind of like Starbucks is today. And we would go in there and she would say, okay, you can have any 1 or 2 donuts that you want, and any cookie, but just one, right? And this place had the most amazing, look, you can look them up online still. It's Roslyn, R-O-S-Y, or Rosalind, R-O-S-A-L-Y-N, and there's cookbooks and stuff like that. And they have the best sugar cookie in the entire world. I think they closed down, honestly. I heard a rumor, and I think this is because something to do with rats in the factory or something. I could be incorrect. I could be incorrect, but I think that's why they shut down, actually. Something like that. It was some kind of deal, with the food deal. But anyway, not to ruin the story, but we would go there when we would get that stuff, and then we would come home. And then my mom would make a lunch, we would have a dinner that evening, but she would make a lunch, a Sunday lunch. And she did this actually before my parents got separated too. I can remember it. My dad would take a nap on the porch, and then she would make chicken noodle soup with tuna fish salad sandwiches. And I can remember eating that as a kid, and that would be our Sunday lunch, and then I would sit there and I would read the cartoons in the newspaper, and we would have these donuts and stuff. But after my parents got separated, we would still do the same thing, and I can remember. And I just always liked, and then after that, we would just kind of I would do homework, or if I had any, or, we would just kind of go over to somebody's house and visit for the day, or, there was always something that we would do that was kind of relaxing. And then in the evening, we would come home and we would have an early supper, I don't know if that's an all over United States thing, but I think in the Midwest, a lot of people have a Sunday family supper. You usually have it earlier, sometime between 4:30 and 6. And it's a big meal. It's fried chicken, I think this was a Southern thing too, but it's like, you know, like it's a big meal. It's like fried chicken, green beans, you know, mashed potatoes. It's like a heavy meal typically. Now ours, because it was just my mom and I, would be like, it just depended, you know, it could be like chili or spaghetti or something like that. But mostly like on a Sunday, you know, she would do like a roast or something like that with potatoes and carrots. It's kind of nice looking back on that and thinking about that, you know. And I loved that. And then, you know, like, we would, like, I would get in my pajamas, and then we would maybe watch a TV show or something, but I would go to bed early, like, on Sundays, because I had school the next day, and so it was, like, a day, you know, to start for the next day, and I've always loved Sundays, and I remember at this one point, my roommate and I, we would like go out to lunch on Sundays. And then, this was when I wasn't in a relationship. And I remember we would go to this Chinese restaurant. It's like this buffet. And then we would go to the library on Sundays. And she loved to read and I loved to read. And we would spend like an hour there, you know, just picking out some great book. And then after, we would like go, this was when they had like VHS movies at the library, which I think they still have like movies at the library. But we would like, we for a long time got these Ramona and Beezus, you know, remember those? Like the, why can't I think of Beverly Cleary, Ramona books? But these were the ones that were off of PBS. I know there's a movie that's been made, but these were from the PBS movies, and they were fantastic. And we used to rent them from the library, and we would come home and watch them on a Sunday evening. Like 2 or 3 of them, they were only 20 or 30 minutes long. And I can remember just like feeling like so family-ish, you know, like that was our way to do like kind of like a little family thing. And then I would stand in the kitchen, we would make a pot of coffee, and I would stand in the kitchen and I would iron my pants and my polo shirt for work the next day, you know, and she'd be in the kitchen making us something for dinner. And that was kind of like our evening, you know, like that was kind of how we like got ready for Mondays. And and we'd have the windows open, we'd do a little, you know, like never did a lot of cleaning on Sundays, did a lot of relaxing, you know, but have the windows open, refresh the house and things like that. Sundays were always just such relaxing days, and I think I've carried that over into like my adult life, and that's still how I feel today, you know, is like I just love to do relaxing things, like just listen to an audiobook or watch a movie or go out to brunch with my husband or, you know, get a pizza or watch a movie or something, you know. So anyway, let me know what you think about Sundays in the comment section below. That's why Sundays are my favorite day. I am going to read, I brought some meditation books, we'll see how far I get. I'm going to start off, since it's early in the morning, with the Daily Book of Positive Quotations by Linda Picone. I've been wearing my reading glasses a lot this morning, you guys. So I was trying to like read text messages and stuff. So I'm going to have to wear these to read the meditation. It is the 23rd today, August 23rd, goals. If you would hit the mark, this is so funny, you guys, when I tell you what I was almost about to do. August 23rd, goals. If you would hit the mark, you must aim a little above it. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. There's no shame in not meeting all of our goals, as long as our goals make us stretch. If we want to run a marathon in under 3 hours, we'll train differently than if we want to run it in 4 hours. Maybe we won't finish in 3 hours, but we'll likely do better than if we were striving for 4. This doesn't mean we should set goals that are impossible. If we do, there's a good possibility that we'll become frustrated and quit. I will set realistic goals that challenge me and try hard to meet them. Maybe, just maybe, I will achieve these goals. If I don't, I will still have done well. I still will have done well. Okay, this is so funny, and I almost brought this up here, and I'm almost like half tempted to like pause the camera and go get it. Because, okay, so I'm like, should I do it? Okay, I'm gonna pause it. Hold on a second. Okay, I had to do this because I am such a believer in signs and symbols of the world. So anyway, I was down in the basement, and I was looking actually for my black t-shirt for videos, and I have like completely lost this extra large black t-shirt. I have no idea where I put it. But anyway, so I was down there in the basement, and I was putting some stuff into the washer, into the dryer. This is all very important, trust me. I was putting some stuff into the washer, into the dryer, and then I had washed and dried some towels, and so I was folding all these towels, and then I was like, oh, I wanted to go find this meditation book that was like my very ever first meditation book, and it's called 24 Hours a Day, and a lot of people that are in recovery read this. And so I thought, well, I'll read a meditation from there, and I'll like bring it back and like, you know, kind of talk about like the early days of my sobriety. That was what I was going to do today. So I went over and I looked for it, because I don't typically use this book very often anymore. I did for a long time, and it might be upstairs underneath in the bathroom, but I don't think it is. I literally, you guys, I have like 30 of these meditation books, like this kind of stuff. I have tons of these. People gave them to me as gifts forever, every time I went to the bookstore and I found one that I hadn't read, because most of them say Hazelden at the top of them, I would buy another one. So anyway, but I haven't read it for a while, and I have probably a couple copies of it. So I was looking for it down there. Well, all of a sudden, I looked at the edge of this table. So I have all of these books in boxes down there ready to be taken to half-price books and donated and things like that. I mean, literally, you guys, I probably have, it's ridiculous amount of boxes that I have down there. So anyway, and they're huge boxes, okay, stacked to the brim of books to be donated and taken in. And then I have this huge desk down there that every book that I still want to go through that's a maybe, and it's literally a pile like this high and probably, 6 feet long, okay? And probably 3 feet wide of a pile of books that I have to go through that are either yes, I'm keeping, or they're maybes, okay? And so on the edge of it, I saw that I had 3 meditation books. And I was like, oh, are these meditation books that I brought down here that I wasn't going to read anymore because I didn't like them? Because I had bought a couple, if you remember, and I didn't end up liking them. But I saw this one in there, which is The Soul's Companion, Connecting with the Soul Through Daily Meditations, TN Date and PhD. And I really, really like these meditations. Now, I will tell you, they're very Buddhist in nature, which is why I don't read a lot of them on here. But I really, really like these. And my mom had actually got me this book. And so, when I opened it, can see she wrote in here, to Peter on 5th birthday, I love you and Merry Christmas. Now onto the new millennium, let our souls take flight. Love, Mom. P.S. I love you too with all of my heart and soul. And so, this would be so weird. I should read the meditation today. What if this is like, now I'm starting to sound like the Illuminati. What if this is like, symbol connect the dots? Wouldn't this be so weird? Okay, let me see what this is, you guys. This is just... Okay, so I just read about goals, right? Okay, so this is the meditation on here. August 23rd, setting a positive goal. I can't make this up, okay? I will set a positive goal for myself today and take one small step toward achieving it. Setting positive goals for one's life and experiencing them as already happening helps to clear negativity and open channels for positive, soulful living. This is nothing more than living with a clear awareness that there is a reality beyond the scene or the objects that surround me. This is nothing more than living with a clear awareness that there is a reality beyond the scene or the objects that surround me, meaning things or emotion that we don't see. Though my spiritual path leads me to increasingly comfortable with going within myself, I still remain an alive and active participant in the world. Learning to set the kind of goals that actualize aspects of the self is living in line with soul. Soul is life-giving, constantly engaged in the act of creation and the miracle of coming forth. I'm able to set a goal and follow through. But a man's reach should exceed his grasp. Or, what's the heaven for? Robert Browning. I'm going to keep this book up here and I'm going to keep on reading from it. Okay, so, oh yeah, that's as weird as it gets, right? No. This is what I actually went down there for before I even looked for the meditation, both of which on August 23rd have to do with setting goals, okay? So I'm sitting there, and it's like a Jenga game on this table. I pull this out, right? And 2 books fall down. Well, when these 2 books fall down, I was like, okay, they fell down onto the ground. And I was like, is this a sign? I cannot believe it, but my battery died already. Okay, so anyway, I'm somebody that looks for signs and burning bushes everywhere, you know? So if you relate to that, raise your hand in the comment section below. So anyway, this book did not fall to the ground. This kind of, I picked it up, and then the other 2 books fell to the ground, and they were, true crime books. One was The Monster in Florence, and the other one was, I don't know, something in the Heartland, or some Cruel in the Heartland, or some stupid true crime book that I bought at a grocery store, right? But underneath them was this. And now, if you don't know, I'm obsessed with buying notebooks, okay? And I loved, for a while, these sketch diaries. Because I would see people, and they would, write these fantastic, they would have these amazing journals and diaries, and these sketch diaries, right? So I was completely obsessed with them. And so I would buy them, right? So I'm thinking, there's nothing in here, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take it upstairs with me, and then I'm going to start using it on a daily basis, because I'm obsessed with notebooks, and I keep lists and all kinds of things. Constantly making lists, okay? I listen my phone of movies I want to watch and books I want to read. Okay. So anyway, okay. So I'm sitting there and I open this. Now I have to tell you, after I read this, I almost brought it upstairs and I was like, no, that's too corny. Because I wanted to show you guys, the fact that, like, I set these goals a while ago. I mean, these goals must have been set, it was before I was ever on YouTube, I can tell, because I'm talking about writing on our old website. So this is about, like, probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I'm reading this, and I'm like, this is crazy to me. That, like, I would, like, because you would look at it at first and be like, well, you haven't achieved all of those goals. No, but I've achieved a lot of them. I really have, you know? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that's pretty powerful when I'm reading it today, that I made a list of goals that I wanted to achieve, and I achieved a lot of them, you know? And then 2 of my meditation books are about goals. So I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to read in here about goals, right? So let me tell you, I don't know where I heard this, but so y'all know I talk about loving yourself. Y'all think it's just a bunch of BS. Here's the beginning of my 2-page journal, and it says, I love you on it, okay? Because I believe in self-reinforcement of telling yourself that you love yourself. And then if you go to the next page, it's just a list of 15 goals. And this is all this entire book is, you guys. There's nothing else in here, okay? I don't know why I was supposed to see this today. So I have to read you these goals. Organize life with a schedule. Do that every single day. Read every day. I do that every day. And this was a point when I wasn't reading a lot anymore. Read gratitude books. I read gratitude books all the time, okay? Be intimate with Alex every day for a year. And now I don't know that we were intimate every day for a year, but pretty close, I think. Read a gratitude book, or do the gratitude book with Alex. So Alex and I did this gratitude book, and it was where, I think this is actually what number 3 is talking about like making a list of things I'm grateful for every day, which I did that for a year. Do you remember? Okay. So this is talking about, oh God, this would have been before we got married then. This is so weird, because this would have been over 8 years ago that I wrote this, because months before Alex and I got married, like 3 months before, leading up until when we got married, we kept a journal where every day we would write like 5 things that we were grateful for the other person, and then we would read them out loud to each other at the end of the day. I had seen it on an Oprah, and it was like this couple wrote this book about it, how they've been doing it for years and years and years. I will tell you, it was so empowering just to like, here's something that my husband was happy that I did for the day that I didn't even realize, you know, something silly, or maybe it wasn't silly. Maybe it was something that like I had just done, and like I noticed that, you know, like that he acknowledged. It was nice, you know, and like, I don't know, it really brought us together. So if you've never thought of that before as a couple, you get a journal, right? Or like 2 journals, and then like every day you just write down like 5 things at the end of the day about the other person that you're grateful for, and then you read them out loud to them. Exercise best body. That has literally been on my goal list since like, I mean, I'm not even lying to you guys, probably since like 1986. Crossword every day. I still talk about this because when I worked in treatment, I did the crossword every single day. I'm getting it today. God, it's Sunday. Sunday's the hardest day of the week for the crossword. But anyway, I really believe that doing the crossword, doing word puzzles and things like that, I really think that they help keep your mind in tune. And I was like so sharp when I was doing the crossword back in the day. My friend and I would like do it. We would get it in the morning on the weekends on like Saturdays. Well, so Sundays and Mondays are my days off. So Mondays, I would call him and I would make a pot of coffee. This was in between 2 boyfriends. This was between my first ex and my second ex. And I would call him and he would go, okay, you ready? I'd be like, let's go. And I would sit at the kitchen table and I would sit there. Oh God, this sounds like such an old person. I would sit there with a cup of coffee, like my cup of coffee right here, and a pack of cigarettes, and I would do the crossword. And then when we were done, whoever called each other first was the first one done. That was what my good Judy and he and I used to do back in the day. Okay. Business schedule about some things in my life. Number 9, keep up with TV shows, which I'm now finally doing, enjoying TV shows. It's always been on here because I just don't relax and stay present very well. Try something new every day. Naps with the dogs, which I've been doing a lot of. Eat healthier. I don't know about that. Number 13, be a vegetarian for 30 days. I just passed 3 years, so that's crazy. 14, watch all movies by a director, and I said Scorsese or Woody Allen at the time or whatever. And I'm still wanting to do that because I haven't, like, I would love to watch all of the movies by just one director so I could say, you know, like I really knew everything about that director. And write book 1 hour every single day. So that would have been before I ever wrote my first book, too. So, you know, I look at this and I think I've accomplished a lot of these goals on here. And this is why I think it's important to have goal lists, you know? I don't know. Maybe the universe is telling me that I need to be making another life goal list, you know? I remember I had a friend of mine. She very, very much believes in The Secret. And she has an amazing life. She really, really does. And she said to me one time, she said, I mean, she's also like, you know, 5'11", and she was, you know, she's absolutely beautiful physically, and she is just very sweet and hilarious and very intelligent, and doors open for her the way that I think doors don't open for some people, okay? But all that aside, she very much believes in The Secret, and she makes a lot of The Secret come true. And I remember one night we were talking on the phone. I was actually talking to her. I was sitting right out there on the front porch, and, well, this was the second conversation. The first conversation, she was like, you know, telling me, you know, I had read The Secret, and she was like, do you believe in it? And I was like, yeah, and I do believe in the power of attraction. I don't believe, like, I think I want a Porsche Cayenne, which is what I used to want back in the day, and it just comes to me, right? I really think that you have to, like, it's more like if you see yourself in the position of being somebody that could afford to drive a Porsche Cayenne, then you're going to work hard enough to do the work that it takes to have it. Does that make sense? Like, I believe in that. Okay. Although my hand is itching, which means money, so I don't know. Publishers Clearinghouse. Okay, so the lottery, I don't know. But anyway, I didn't buy a lottery ticket last night. I should, but I didn't. So anyway, she was like, you need to make a list of like 10 goals that you have. I wish I still had this list in my phone. I think I deleted it at some point. Because, well, it's weird what happened. So anyway, she said you need to make a list of 10 goals in your phone and then read them several times a day. And I was like, okay. And she was like, you need to do it. You need to practice. You need to keep the dreams alive in your head, right? And I said, okay. So got off the phone with her and I made this list of 10 things I wanted to, you know, do. Like one of them was be debt free and, you know, get all the, you know, the stuff paid off and whatever. And, you know, another one I think was like, I can't remember, it's stuff to do with the house and stuff, you know, with Alex and I. And it was just all these different kinds of goals, right? So anyway, I talked to her like a month or 6 weeks after that, and she's like, so how's your like dream list coming? And that's what she called it, a dream list. She's like, how's your dream list coming? I'm like, yeah, girl, nothing's coming true on it. She's like, how many times a day are you reading it? And I go, well, what do you mean? And she's like, I told you you have to read it like several times a day. Like you have to really believe it's going to happen. You have to believe in it, right? And I was like, okay. And she was like, have you not been doing that? I was like, no. So I started doing that, right? You know, and like, did it mysteriously take those things away? No. But do I have debt today? No. Like, I mean, it's crazy to me, you know? Did I work hard enough to focus my attention on that, to get that taken care of? Yes. Did Alex and I focus a lot of attention on our marriage to like repair it and make it this amazing marriage that we have today? Yes. You know, and like, I think keeping those dreams and keeping those things conscious in my head made us even more aware of like working, well, me more aware of working on those things, you know? So I don't know, I guess maybe it's time for me to make another dream list, to make another secrets list. What's on your secrets list? What are things that you want in your life to be true? You know, you can't I mean, I am a believer, I make lists all the time. I am a believer you can't have those things in your life that you want if you aren't aware of what it is you want to begin with, you know? I was just thinking about this, it's so funny, like in my head I was thinking of, because I was thinking I want a sip of coffee, and I know you were probably thinking I was in my head doing a prayer, but I'm not that spiritual. I would love to think that I am, but no, I am. Sometimes I'm that spiritual. But I was in my head thinking I want a sip of coffee. So like I wanted to reach down and get it. But then I was thinking about the street in Saugatuck that my dad and I used to go to. You know, this little stone mug coffee shop, which is like on this side street. And it, like where you were standing, you could like look down the street and you could see like the harbor, because it was a little town of Saugatuck. It was way back in the day. Now it's like fancy and it's like the like gay province town of, you know, of the Midwest. It's, you know, it's what I've heard. It's what I've heard. So anyway, I don't know if that's true or not, but you know, a little bed and breakfast and all that kind of stuff, and it's very cute, and cobblestone streets. It was kind of like Amity, Jaws, Towny when I was there. It definitely wasn't where all the gays were going. You know what I mean? Like that's what they say though about it. I don't know if that's true. I haven't been down there in years, or been up there in years, but I've heard it's absolutely adorable these days. But anyway, I can remember, like, we would go into this one little place and we would eat breakfast, and it was very loud, and it was like where all the fishermen and stuff, because it was like a fishing place, you know, like it was where all like the fishing men would come in and they would eat, and it was almost kind of like a cafeteria. And then I can remember we would like go and get stuff for the boat, whatever we needed, and then we would go out on the boat, and then that was our Sundays or Saturdays. You know, today looks like one of those days where, you know, everybody would meet in the cove, and then we would just hang out in the cove. My dad's partner had a boat up there too, his like work partner. His office partner. So we would like hang out in the cove, and then we would just, although for a while they had a sailboat, and then they had this big crisscross boat, and then his wife had this little whaler, and she would like take us, you know, into the cove, into the shores and stuff. God, those were the days. So much fun, you know? And then we would drive back late at night on a Sunday. I was telling the story the other day on my vlog, because I think that he would bring me back to my mom's house, and I would be so tired, but I can remember my dad drove this little, speaking of Porsches, he did actually though when I was growing up. I've always wondered if that's why I've kind of in the back of my mind wanted like a Porsche, you know, because of my dad when I was growing up as a kid. But my dad, he had this little bucket, you know, this Porsche with these little bucket seats in the back of it, and I would curl in there as a little kid, you know, put this like one of his old sweatshirts over me. And I can just remember like hearing the wind, because he would have the, you know, sunroof open, and he'd be singing to Willie Nelson and eating those big pretzel sticks and those knotted pretzels. And that's how I remember my Sunday nights coming home as a kid, you know, with my dad in the summers. It was nice. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna have to call my dad and check in today and say, hey Dad, how are you? Remember those days at Saugatuck? He'll be like, yeah, let's go right now. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing Sunday. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.